Hi folks, welcome to the Create Balance page. Today I'm here to talk a little bit about why your brain and your head is really the worst place for you to have a to-do list and what to do about this. And I do want to say that this is something that is somewhat unique to parents, I think, in that we have a lot of things going on, lots of different parts of our lives, where there's scheduling happening on the personal side, there's scheduling and events and reminders happening in the work side of things. But in addition to that, we also rarely have time to just sit down and figure out what we need to do next, because there's always little children who need our attention or need to have us help them, or that we're busy with, and so we can't pause to go take care of something that needs to be done. So the reason I wanted to come here today to talk about why your head is the worst place for the to-do list is to talk about two strategies that are really effective for parents to use to deal with this reality. Because I know that, and I'm not alone in this, I know plenty of other people like this, you might be one of them. A lot of times, especially us moms, we are the ones who we are the thinking for our family. We are the ones who hold the dates and the events. We're the ones who know when things are happening. We're the ones who know when things are due. We're the ones who are aware of which chores around the house need to be done and in which order. And on the other side of that, we're also the ones at work who are managing our own time, possibly time for others, people we manage, people we work with, and so on. And it's a lot to hold in your brain. And one of the things I talk about all the time with creating balance is your time and your energy are precious resources, and you want to use them intentionally and strategically. I'll say that again. Your time and energy are precious resources. So part of creating balance is using them intentionally and strategically. And one of the most ineffective ways to use your energy or mental capacity is to remember stuff, right? So if you have a list in your head of stuff you want to make sure you do today or tomorrow, that I have to remember to go pick that up at the store, or I need to remember to email so-and-so. If you're just having that cycle in your brain all the time, you're using up mental energy that could be spent elsewhere. So what do you do? What do you do when you've got a ton of stuff in your head and you know what stuff you need to do, but it's just running in your head and you can't get to it yet? Here's what you do. First of all, two strategies. The first one is the brain dump. It's exactly what it sounds like. I first learned about it from David Allen. It's very basic. You literally sit down and write down all the things you're thinking about in your head. And this can take a little bit of time depending on when you're doing it and how often you do it. I have to say, usually once a week or so, I make time to do a brain dump, but there's other days where at the end of the day, after the kids go to bed, I just need like 5 minutes to write down everything in my brain so that I can relax for the night. And so you can do it either way. You can either have kind of a dedicated 15 minutes to really write down and think about all the things you want to accomplish, or it can be sort of quick and dirty, just when your brain feels too full, you dump it all out. And I wanted to share with you today an actual example of one of my brain dumps. You probably can't read any of it because my handwriting is so bad, but that's literally, I have in my notebook, I have pages where when I need to, I just sit down and just get it all out of my brain. And what happens after that is, once the things in my head are on paper, I can focus on doing them, but I can't remember them and do them at the same time. It takes up too much working memory, it takes up too much brain space. The other thing I wanted to share is this idea of the inbox. Again, another David Allen strategy that I love, but again, adapted for parents. Because as much as I absolutely adore everything David Allen has ever written, a lot of his strategies are designed for somebody in a corporate office who maybe has time and space in their day to write things down. And I know as a working mom and as a teacher who's a mom, just the idea of sitting is kind of a big deal. So another thing I've been known to do is when I'm thinking about something, or I suddenly remember I have to do something, and then I'm in the middle of something else, right? So I'm making breakfast for the kids and I remember something. Or I am playing Legos with my son and I remember something. Or even when I'm in the middle of doing stuff like grading papers or doing stuff for work and I remember something, I can't get away from what I'm doing long enough to go deal with the other thing I remembered. I need to just write it down in a place where I'll remember to look at it later. And what I actually do is we have these stacks of papers in my house, and I have a stack at work too. It's the back of a calendar, like one of those, 365-day calendars. We have a stack of these, and what I do is I have a stack for me at all times, and when I remember something, I just write it down. So sometimes what will happen is at the end of the day, I will end up with a paper that just has like notes all over it. But here's what I do. At the end of the day, I get my little papers and I look at them all and I use them to plan out what I need to do the next day, what needs to happen next week, or what things I thought about that seemed really important at the time, but by the end of the day, I realize that's not happening and it doesn't need to. So what I want to really emphasize here is no matter what system you use, you can write down notes in a memo on your phone, you can have a really cute planner, you can use a Google Doc that you share with somebody else, you can do so many different use so many different tools to record things you're remembering and things you want to do. But the most important component of getting that to-do list out of your head is to put it somewhere else and then to check in with that someplace else at the end of the day or end of the week. Because if your brain learns to trust that when you write down on that piece of paper, you'll come back to that piece of paper and check in later, your brain will then be able to really let it go. And once you really let those things go, once those reminders can come into your head and you can get them out of your head, you're going to have way more energy, mental energy especially, and way more focus to apply to whatever you're actually doing. Because let's be real, we all know that feeling of we look like we're doing one thing, but meanwhile our brain's a million miles away thinking about all the other stuff we gotta do. And you can live some of your life that way, but you miss out on some of it when you do. So I really want to just emphasize that the brain dump and the inbox systems are really great, not just in terms of keeping you organized or productive. Frankly, they help you live a better life because they let you focus on what's in front of you instead of always worrying about what you need to do next. So please go ahead and give the brain dump and the inbox a try. I also have guides for both of these at createbalancedlife.com/blog. If you go there, there's I've got a resource post all about how to use both the brain dump and the inbox with some step-by-step guidelines, and I'd love to hear how it goes for you. Thanks so much for watching.